This is going to be the last warning I'm going to post on this channel regarding anybody who's buying MicroStrategy as a Bitcoin play. I'm going to explain to you the additional risk that you're taking on by buying MicroStrategy compared to Bitcoin directly. Because according to these comments, it seems like a lot of retail people who are buying this stuff doesn't really seem to understand the additional risk that they're taking by buying MicroStrategy over buying Bitcoin directly. So we're going to go through these comments, go through some of the technicals of why I think it's going to happen, or certain price action is going to happen. And literally, you guys aren't even arguing with me at this point. You guys are arguing with AI. I did all my research on AI. So the fact that you think you're smarter than AI, that really doesn't make any sense to me at all. But anyways, okay. This guy says, I don't own any MicroStrategy, just to quell any thoughts that I'm coping with my bag crashing. The fact that you literally said that makes me think you might be a bag holder. But anyway, moving on. MNAV, MicroStrategy market cap divided by value of Bitcoin holdings. No, that's not what it is. And I will admit, I didn't know what that was either. But according to Grok, it's the number of Bitcoin that they hold times the Bitcoin price minus the liabilities divided by the number of shares. Just for clarification, right? Okay, so it says that has been in steady decline since December 2024. Bitcoin per share has been going up the whole time. See, that's where I have a problem too, because you can literally go to on their freaking website that shows the number of Bitcoin that they have and the number of shares that they have outstanding. You simply just put that on the Excel sheet, right? And literally divide the number of Bitcoin that they have divided by the number of shares. Yes, it has been going up recently. I mean, all these years. But like I said, in the recent liquidation, or the recent dilution that they did, it actually went lower from 1.999 to 1.978. Yes, it's a small marginal dip. The Bitcoin per share, the ratio, actually went down on this recent dilution, not up. So what I would argue is, if it went down during this market, what's going to happen if Bitcoin actually enters a bear market? Which most likely is going to happen. Because on the technical level, on what I'm seeing on the charts, a lot of people may not be saying this, but I think the cycle top is in. The October high is most likely in. And even if we get a new high in December, I don't think it's going to be much of a higher high. Maybe like what, 5 to 10% higher than previous highs? I don't think it is, but either way, we'll go into that a bit later. But anyway, continuing with this comment. So the premium has been compressing, blah, blah, blah. The point of the USD reserve is to prevent needing to sell equity in a bad market condition, which, yes, they have enough money to actually last in 21 months, as you said here. Yes, they dilute it to acquire the dividend. That doesn't make any sense to me. They literally dilute the shares to pay the dividend that they owe, just for clarification, okay? But it's actually less dilutive to issue shares to pay dividends on the preferreds than it is to sell stock and buy Bitcoin. That makes absolutely no sense at all. How is it less dilutive to issue shares and pay dividend that they owe on their loans compared to issuing shares and buying more Bitcoin? What? Like I said, I'm not trying to offend you, but you should really double check what you're saying next time. Okay, so MicroStrategy weathered bear market already, and it is safer now and can avoid any common stock dilution for at least 21 months. Yes, if they could survive with the 1.44 billion that they have, they shouldn't really need to issue common shares. But the counter argument to that, I would say, is okay, if they're using 1.44 billion cash reserve in order to pay dividend and interest that they owe, where the heck are they going to get the money in order to buy the dip if we enter crypto winter? And speaking of crypto winter, dude, what I'm seeing in the charts, and just pay attention to the price action of what's happening with Bitcoin and MicroStrategy. Look what happened recently. During this initial run-up, after this consolidation, the initial pump that we got in Bitcoin, MicroStrategy had a huge pump up, right? But here's the problem. As Bitcoin made a new pump up and made a higher high, MicroStrategy actually made a lower high. Guess when this sort of price action happened before? Back in 2021. Let's look at 2021. The same exact thing, guys. The initial pump right here, MicroStrategy got the initial pump way high, right? And then all of a sudden we had a dip and we had a second run up, but it was only a slightly higher high on Bitcoin. So technically Bitcoin did wick up to a higher high. However, MicroStrategy again made a lower high. Dude, it's the same thing that happened just recently. So if Bitcoin is going to go down, MicroStrategy, dude, even from this recent or this particular high, it went down an additional 85% from this high alone. And the price action is the same thing that's happening right now. Okay? And the reason why I believe, just for anybody who actually didn't watch any of my previous videos, that the Bitcoin cycle top is basically in. For me, not only did we get multiple weekly closes below the 50 weekly moving average, which you could see here, we already had 3 weekly closes below it. Okay. And I believe the next leg down is going to be when we have a weekly close below the 100. Once the weekly close below the 100 happens, I think the next leg down is going to happen anywhere between 3 to 6 months. But not financial advice. Just what I'm seeing in the charts. But anyway, the reason why I think the cycle top is in is back in 2021, we had a weekly topping tail that never got negated, right? And that was back in October. And we also had a monthly topping tail in November. And that was the start of the crypto winter. And yes, so start of the drop, bearish consolidation, and final drop into the crypto winter, right? Look at the candles that we have right now. A monthly topping tail in August, close to getting a monthly topping tail in October, and a weekly topping tail that never got negated back in August. And multiple weekly closes below the 50 weekly moving average. Guys, I think the cycle top is in. I really do think. So if that's the case, and Bitcoin ends up going to a crypto winter, what do you think is going to happen to MicroStrategy? Bro, you guys are, and not only that, you guys are taking additional risk of the massive debt that MicroStrategy has, plus the amount of dividend and interest that they owe on those loans. Plus they have a money losing software company. So why would you take those additional 2 risks by buying MicroStrategy rather than buying Bitcoin directly? It really doesn't make any sense to me, guys. It really doesn't. And not only that, to add insult to injury, I'm sorry, but like even this guy is saying, yeah, so wrong on so many things on this video. I see you in 10 years. If MicroStrategy survives in 10 years, it could possibly have that massive run. But like I said, if it survives, and I mean, I guess it can, but you never know. But either way, this guy doesn't seem to know what he's talking about at all either. They ATM the stock when the MNAV trades at a higher premium. This increases Bitcoin per share for investors. This is literally the opposite of what they said they were going to do, and it's the literal opposite of what it does. If they dilute the shares at higher premium, and I even double checked this with Grok just to make sure I'm not losing my mind. If strategy dilutes during a high NMAV premium, does it lower the Bitcoin per share ratio? Yes, it does. Like, dude, you guys don't know. Or, like I said, I'm not trying to offend you guys. All I'm saying is, like, do your research. And not only that, you guys are literally arguing with AI. Here's the really crazy part. If you're saying that I'm wrong, you're saying that AI is wrong. And if you're saying that AI is wrong, then that means AI is basically freaking useless. If it can't even do basic research like this, how are major corporations going to implement AI if it can't even do simple, tasks like this? And if AI is garbage like this, then that means AI stock valuations are way overvalued. And if those things have a correction, imagine what's going to happen with Bitcoin and freaking MicroStrategy. Bro. And not only that, you're also, facing the possibility of us either entering a recession or possibly even being in one right now. I mean, think about it. Why did they report September, job report that got in over 100,000 jobs? And all of a sudden they say, oh yeah, we're not going to report October and we're going to report November after the FOMC meeting. Okay. Look at the recent ADP report that we got today. We didn't get a job ad. We lost 32,000 jobs in the private sector. Like, there's so much risk right now. Like, why would you get in now when you could get in at a better price? And so for me personally, what I'm going to do, I'm not saying I'm not going to buy MicroStrategy at all. I would if he gets to a, you know, pretty good technical level, which is at right now. But I'm not going to look for a huge bounce from here. Maybe like 10, 15, 20% at most. And that's it. And I'm out. Okay. Where I would buy MicroStrategy, and as far as buying, and like I said, not financial advice, but how I would invest in MicroStrategy, me personally, I would treat it as an altcoin, like basically like a meme coin at this point, dude, because it can have these massive rally up, but you're better off buying it as it crashes. And it already dropped like 60%. Heck, even from all-time high, 70%, dude. But like I said, if Bitcoin drops 70%, MicroStrategy most likely dropping even lower. So if it drops lower to the lower end of this range right here, or the pivot top from here would be a better entry. And then add, I mean, if it goes down to 50%, $50, yeah, I would buy. Yes. But like I said, I would treat it like a meme coin play, and I would allocate just a small portion of my portfolio, like less than 5% for sure. Not even 5%, maybe like, honestly, I wouldn't even want to put more than 10,000 in this thing myself, but it's up to you guys, not financial advice. Either way, it's getting scary out there, guys, because you guys seem to think you know what you're talking about while you're literally arguing with AI. Like, come on, guys. You guys are literally saying AI is wrong at this point. So I'm not sure if you think you're smarter than AI, but I know I'm not. So I'm just going to trust the answers that I got from AI and just go with that. You've been warned. MicroStrategy could go lower, mainly because I think Bitcoin market cycle top is in. But you could see on my previous video, I literally used AI. This two tabs right here is Grok, dude. You're literally fighting with AI. And not only that, even here during that last video, okay, the 1.44 billion actually gives about 1 to 2 year runway, okay? But it literally says MicroStrategy model amplifies. What the hell? Oh my gosh, Google. I didn't even say Google, man. Google, I'm telling you, man, these phones are literally listening to you even though you think they're not. I think it is. But anyways, yeah, it amplifies the Bitcoin upside, but exposes dilution risk in bears. Direct Bitcoin holders face lower liquidation spillovers than MicroStrategy holders. Dude, that's what literally AI says. So if you think you're smarter than AI, by all means, do whatever you want to do. But yeah, just be careful. Stay safe out there. And please share this video for anybody who's actually investing in MicroStrategy, because I think most of them don't even know what they're getting themselves into. And it's very, very risky and dangerous. So yeah, stay safe out there. Leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.